Hello and welcome to DBA TV. Today's episode is called The Legacy of Nourishment. I'm Khadijah Fox.
And I'm Brandy Gates Burgess.
Thank you. And tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I am born and raised in Richmond, California. Then I started off my lactation career working for WIC. Well, as a mother, actually, 21-year-old college student. And I had a baby and I needed to feed my baby for free. So I decided to breastfeed her. And then I went to a WIC appointment. And at my WIC appointment, they invited me to apply to become a breastfeeding peer counselor.
Nice.
Yeah, my baby was 9 months old at the time. And I started when she was 11 months. So I've been doing this work for 19 years.
Oh,
yes.
love that.
And I've been at IBCLC for 12 years.
Nice. Oh, that's a good mile.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So I love to hear that. Thank you for sharing. When we talk about the legacy of Black breastfeeding, what cultural and historical factors do you think are most important for people to understand today?
It's so much. I think, breastfeeding and lactation is so multifaceted. It is, my mom always says it's genius, right? Because it involves the mom and the baby, and it can literally change the health trajectory of a generation, right? If babies are fed breast milk for at least 6 months.
Yes.
And so a little bit like going back to the beginning of my story, I was a college student, as I said, and once I got pregnant and had a baby, I really became fascinated with breastfeeding when I was working at WIC. And so I majored in sociology, but I started focusing on African American studies, and I started finding that a lot of our health disparities are heavily impacted because we don't breastfeed our babies. And so we're starting off life like behind, right? Not as healthy as we could be. And then because of all the structural racism that's in place and us living in like food deserts and not having access to healthy foods and adequate housing, it just, And so I really feel like breastfeeding is the key to getting Black folks back into like a healthy state so that our mental, our spiritual, our bodies can just be in alignment, and then we can move forward and start to just be great.
Yeah. I love that.
And live in our greatness, right?
That's so real. I absolutely stand all of that. And that leads us right into our next question, which is how have systematic barriers like medical racism, lack of representation, and or generational trauma shaped the breastfeeding experience for Black families today? And I think you kind of touched on that a little.
Yeah, I think for Black women, Black families in particular, we don't get the education and the information to make an educated feeding decision because of just lack of access to health care, especially in a timely manner. A lot of Black families tend to be late to care, which means if you're coming, to your appointment at 6 months pregnant, you've missed that whole first or second trimester. You can't get all the information that you need. And so people tend to make a hasty decision or not always informed choice. Just in our culture, breastfeeding has been lightweight shamed, and made people feel like, oh, that's what poor people do. Or because of our history with slavery and, breastfeeding the masses baby and, the
trauma of
the trauma of it. But also, I try to tell people to think about the resilience in the fact that we were able to breastfeed not only our own babies, but our sisters' babies, our aunties' babies, and then also, the slave master's baby. It's so powerful, right? And then thinking about, our breast milk as Black people and why it's so uniquely different. And why do other people want our particular breast milk?
I always say that.
I'm intrigued. I have a friend who does research composition on breast milk, and she said that you can tell different ethnicities' milk. You can tell the difference by the composition of the milk.
I mean, somebody knew something, right?
Somebody knew something. The whole nation. Yes.
We were dirty.
Yes.
So I don't
Why you want your baby to breastfeed on my dirty body? Yes.
They knew, but we didn't know.
Yes.
Right.
And so I guess that's bringing me back to, because I know I kind of got off a tangent.
No, you're good.
But bringing us back to the systems, right? Of like, not necessarily knowing, right? And I think what I'm trying to say is I think that there's a fear that Black people, Black women face when having our babies that stems from slavery. It's that fear of like not wanting to be attached, right? Because back in slavery days, like if you get attached to this baby, the baby might be sold, right? And so I can't get attached because if it gets sold or, you know, God forbid, having to be dead or anything happen to this baby, I don't want to get attached. And so even in 2025, we still have that fear of, you know, not being attached to our baby for fear of like CPS, fear of like having to leave the baby and like go back to work really soon after birth. You know, family drama where the baby could be, you know, now custody, parental custody issues, you know, so there's a lot of just that still fear of attachment that stems from slavery and thinking about how we can, breast milk can actually create that bond and attachment that's needed to heal that fabric, right, that we've been missing for so many generations.
That's so good. That's so good. And so I heard you say that you've been doing this work, IBCLCs, for 12 years. And so what advice would you give an aspiring Black lactation consultant or doulas entering into this field?
I think, so I didn't tell y'all about Breast Friends, right? And so Breast Friends is a nonprofit organization that I started that supports families all throughout the Bay Area and now Stockton and Sacramento. And it's focusing on the Black breastfeeding and pregnancy experience. But one thing that's unique about our model is that we hire from within the community and members that have attended our group sessions. So we have a workforce development model. And I think the one thing I would give to folks who want to get into lactation is that if you have the heart to do this work for free, to serve your sisters and your aunties and your friends for free, then this is something for you, right?
Seriously.
Because it is a labor of love and it's a passion. And if you don't have that, if you're just trying to get some coin, you know, get your bag, you're going to be bad. Because it's an expensive field to get into. You know, passing those exams, getting all those courses, you know, taking your lactation education, it's expensive. And then you may or may not get a job out of it. And so I would say, number one, have that passion, that heart to serve your community. And then the second thing is it takes time. A lot of people think you can just, I took this breastfeeding class and now I can go and teach someone how to breastfeed. And I'm like, nah, I put in so much work before I was working as a breastfeeding peer counselor in CLE, which is certified lactation educator, for 7 years before I even thought about taking an exam. And I think a lot of people rush to take their exam and they don't necessarily have the skill set to fix lactation issues.
That makes sense.
And then that's kind of another thing that happens. It's like you're paying someone this money or you're getting a job at this place, but you're not necessarily fixing the breastfeeding issue, which in turn, you know, now people are still formula feeding because their issues are not being fixed.
It's not being addressed the right way.
Exactly.
That's right. So with that, I would love to hear, just for yourself as a Black IBCLC, how are you showing up to restore traditional knowledge or culturally rooted support around breastfeeding and holistic care?
I think to answer that question is to remind Black folks that we have always done this. It is a part of our history and our heritage to breastfeed, you know, babies, to mother, to nurture. Like, that is what we do as Black women. We are able to hold that space for ourselves and for others. And I think, you know, that tradition needs to be brought back, especially for the younger generation and especially for folks who have been through trauma or have been in the foster care system. Because I think we miss those people that don't have secure attachment with parental figure. And so just bringing back that closeness, like teaching them how to be close. I often say everything baby needs is right here with mama. Warmth, food, and security. There's nothing else in the world. Like all those little, you know, little rocking things and bouncy chair and swing. I'm like,
Yeah, everything's just
Everything
robotic
is
now.
right. It's right here with
Yeah.
mama.
Mm-hmm.
And just
That's
helping
good.
people to remember that, that is our tradition.
That's right.
We grew up, well, I'm a little older, but I grew up with my grandma like in her rocking chair.
Oh yeah.
Holding
they had
the
that rock.
babies.
They had the rhythm, boy. Yeah, they know how to put you to sleep.
The only thing we rocking this day is that scroll.
That's real.
We like, I'm like, no, you can scroll and hold the baby and rock that baby.
Yes.
So I think just bringing that back to just our bodies are enough, and they can do what they're divinely designed to do. And yeah, we can hold ourselves and each other and our babies.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Granny, thank you for enriching us today
Oh.
with your knowledge and just sharing with our community. Can you tell us how we can connect with you for services, where you're located for services?
I can. I'm located in Stockton and also throughout the Bay Area. You can reach me at www.breastfriendslactation.org. You can follow me on Instagram at breastfriends.lactation. And you can email me at brandy@breastfriendslactation.org. And yeah.
Good.
I think that's it.
Good.
But I'm serving the Bay Area in Stockton, so find me. I'm here.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.